Welcome back to another episode of Adam Bergman's Money Makers. Thank you so much for joining me on this amazing journey. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite stocks, Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. If you've been following my channel for a while, Palantir is up 5+% today, Palantir is up over 20% for the week, and Palantir is up over 25% for the month. Now it's not all sweet rainbows and trolls and all these little fairy things. Palantir really did get into a lot of trouble. Palantir hit over $30 and dropped down to under $10. Thank the Lord it's making a comeback and people are starting to understand and see what I've been seeing very, very clearly this entire time. Today I want to go over a call that I listened to the other day. I had a live Palantir coverage where they were talking about Palantir's involvement with Space Force and Palantir's involvement in space in general. I then realized that a lot of people that were watching my channel had no idea that Palantir does this type of work and to the extent of what Palantir is capable of doing. I then further realized that most people have no idea what Palantir does, even more so than my subs don't understand what Palantir does. So I want to break down the live that I was doing the other day and break down what they actually said and explain to you just a small fraction of what exactly Palantir does, specifically for space exploration and the connection between space and land. First and foremost, this is Palantir's meta constellation. It's there to harness the power of satellite constellations to empower decision makers on Earth. It deploys AI into orbit. Meta constellation brings hundreds of satellites to bear your most complex problems. It integrates with the mesh network of existing satellites. It optimizes hundreds of orbital, terrestrial, and aircraft sensors and AI models, and it enables and ensures to ask time-sensitive questions across the entire planet. Optimizes orbital sensors. When given a request, Meta Constellation dynamically determines which sensors are available. The constellations collaboratively schedule coverage over that area. Sensor integration. Meta Constellation integrates with sensors constellations, allowing users to request collections without the complexity of orchestrating many satellites. I'm going to explain what all of this means in plain English. Real-world insights. Users request insights from Meta Constellation rather than raw data. Ask for real-world questions, and Meta Constellation determine the optimal mix of sensors to answer that question. Guys, what they're basically saying is, when you give us a problem, we figure it out for you. Not only are we giving you data, we are giving you answers to your question. Not only are we giving you raw data, we are giving you processed data that we take the raw data, we process it through our AI, and we give you more so what you're looking for. And by doing everything in space, we're able to give you that answer in a prescribed 30 minutes or less. They try to give you guys an answer in 30 minutes, as opposed to if they sent the raw data from space down to Earth, that would take you another 24 hours to figure out the answers that you guys want. To make it very simple, just remember, I have a bunch of satellites in space that gather information. When you ask a question or you need something answered, they don't just say, here's the information, look through it. Imagine I give you the iPad. I'm not just gonna say, here's an iPad, it's charged and it has Wi-Fi, go figure it out. No, they would give you the iPad. They would already load the website that you need. They would skim through the website and they would find that specific sentence or paragraph that is useful and what you are looking for. Do you understand what I just said? Instead of skimming through an entire book yourself, they will point you to the right direction and say, hey, this is exactly what you're looking for. This then shortens the amount of processing time that you need to do and allows you to respond a lot quicker. That is the power of Palantir. To give you guys a visualization, did you guys ever watch Tony Stark, Iron Man 3, where there's the satellites in the air? That's exactly what Palantir has. I want to talk about what happened in the Spotify podcast, and I wanted to explain to you what they're exactly doing with Space Force. Palantir has a contract with Space Force. For some reason, people don't know that and don't even realize that Palantir is in space. It's remarkable. It says Palantir secures an additional $43 million contract from Space System Command. Guys, it's 43 additional. Read the words, additional. The total cumulative face value of the contract is $91.5 million. it's very important to say that Palantir maximizes the amount of contracts that they have. For example, in this last quarter, they did not grow their government contracts. However, they had a net per client of like 1.4. So they made 40% more money, don't quote me on the number off the top of my head, than they did the quarter before, and they did not sign up any new clients. Why? They're increasing the total amount of the contracts that they already have. When I was listening to the Spotify podcast, they said a couple of very, very interesting things. It was podcast number 6 from the Manifest Space episode, and it was with Palantir's Katie Ward and Anand Gupta. They're responsible for growing Palantir awareness, so to speak. They said that the United States has the largest ground radar, and the space domain is what gives awareness to this radar. They said that there was a huge problem with processing data in space and actually getting it to the ground. They said Palantir is what's solving this and allowing us to get near instant information and data from space to hit the ground. They said that they can track space debris up to the size of a tennis ball. Did you understand what I just said? They can find something like this in the middle of space. So Palantir figured out and is integrating with all systems. So Palantir acknowledged that there's many different systems in space and that they're allowing their AI, their platform, allows you to communicate and sync between all the different systems. They said, how can I have AI go through all the data and find specifically what user needs? That's exactly what they said. So it's not just getting you data, it's going through the actual data that's being processed and giving you the specific information that you need. Sometimes they find the information that you need before you even know that you need that information. They gave several crazy examples. They said if they're looking for something specific, let's say they're looking for a specific tree, instead of looking for all the characteristics of the tree, they can narrow it down to a specific leaf with specific ridges and a specific color and a specific cut or rip. And they're looking for that one little thing. That one little thing leads them to the tree that you're looking for. I'm just giving you an example of how they actually process the data. Because they're doing that, they can process data way, way faster. And as they process the data, not only are they gonna give you data about the tree, they're gonna give you data about what comes next. What might you have needed with the data when you find that tree, if that makes sense. They said that they're all about how to do this ASAP, right now. As I said, they're trying to get you the information within 30 minutes, as opposed to before when it used to take 24 or 36 hours to process all the information. They said that they work with several Palantir space partners, for example, Black Sky and Satellogic. They have a network of providers. They said that Palantir brokers trust between NASA, the government, the Space Force specifically, and commercial contractors. They said that there's always a chain of events. They said that there's always collaboration to reduce risk. We help quantify these scenarios for our clients. So they try to reduce risk. I've been saying this for a very, very long time. Palantir takes information, and it's not that they try to make you better or more efficient. They're trying to reduce the risk and reduce inefficiencies, reduce errors and mistakes, if that makes sense. And remember, Palantir does things for 5 years in advance. They said Meta Constellation can solve more problems because they're not so rigid. They're allowed to pivot. They said they can adapt and move and train and think and learn themselves how to make Meta Constellation that much more efficient. They were asked about partnerships and how do you go about, showing what you can do to clients. And they said, we show the client data in real time to digest what we do. It's very hard to explain what Palantir does, especially if somebody is not tech savvy or world savvy. You understand what I mean? Especially an older generation. So they said that in real time, we will show them exactly what Palantir does. That's how we can close out the client when we're meeting prospective business partners. They were asked about, do you have any competition? They said, it's not about competition. They said it's about massive integration. So they said they're able to integrate with other companies. They said that there's a massive amount of companies that are in outer space, and it's not about competition like it was 10 years ago. It's more about coming together and helping each other out. And they said, even though there are companies that might be doing similar to what they're doing or try to do a piece of what they're doing, they're not doing the whole kit and caboodles as they do. And there's always an opportunity to work even with these so-called competitors, which they didn't call them competitors. So there's always an ability for Palantir to integrate and make some money by working with these people that are working within the same space. They said the value is not enough to deliver images. You need to deliver insight based on those images. That's what I was telling you before. So it's not just getting you what you're asking for. It's about preemptively predicting what you need with what you're asking for and then giving you those next steps. So it's always like, if we do this, well, there's this, and then if you get that, it's this. Well, Palantir is trying to figure out right here, while everybody else is like from here to here. Palantir is like boop, 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 answering the entire web of information that's needed. They said that they have an algorithm to solve client-specific problems in real value. That's what they said. They finished out by asking about the geopolitical situation right now, what's happening with Ukraine and Russia. Kathy Ward said, we are using data as a deterrent. We're not hoarding it. So a lot of people are like, oh, Palantir data, you guys keep the data. They're saying we don't keep the data. We use the data as a deterrent. We're not keeping it. So the point of Palantir is to figure out what's going to happen in the future and stop mistakes. Deterrence, that's what I was talking about before. She says we're not keeping the information. We don't need the information. We process it through our AI, artificial intelligence system, and that's it. We don't keep the information. A lot of times they don't even see what they're processing. They only get the end result. If that kind of made sense what I said. They said we want a rapid response acceleration. They said this is what we do, and that's what we do to help the experts and operators in space. Anand Gupta finished up by saying events on Earth cause ripples in space and vice versa. We are trying to get it to integrate with each other. He says, how do we tie those ripples together between space and ground and space? You understand? He wants a spoke and relay, essentially, between space and ground. Guys, as I mentioned, Palantir is on an absolute tear right now. I love this company. Please give me the likes, the shares, and subscribe. If you like articles like this, if you like videos like this, I've been telling you guys about Palantir for quite a while. And yeah, have a great day.